This is Helen from Helen Trial Ministries. Have you ever felt that you said something to someone that you shouldn't have said, or you spoke too quickly and you regret it, and you said, why did I say that? Or why didn't I just wait a little while until I finish hearing what they had to say? It has happened to all of us, and God wants to encourage you that not to beat yourself up about it, because it can happen. God wants you to know that there's a specific word for this particular area that we struggle with sometimes. Sometimes we think that we're just too chatty, or we just have just too much to say, too opinionated, and sometimes that's not the case. It's all about just yielding and listening. And that's what God wants you to know, that if you just yield to the persons that you're talking to, and just be still and let them speak, and then this one able for God to operate and start to move in your spirit, and you can say and respond to the person appropriately. This word that God has for you is in the epistle or the letter James. This is chapter 1. Wherefore, my beloved, that's you, brethren, let everyone be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Here God tells us that we need to be really swift, means quick to hear, listen to the person that you're talking to, slow to speak, slow to wrath. If we do this, God promises in His Word that you won't be angry when someone says something to you that is not really pleasant. And that's how confrontations began, because we get upset because the person has said something. Immediately we respond. And then there's an anger, and there's a wrath, and there's an explosion. There's a serious confrontation. God says that this will happen again, and it will, because you have a lot of opposition, especially the adversary on the prowl, operating in people. You need to be just really quick to just hear what they're saying, then think about it, and let God start to move in you. And perhaps the answer that you wanted to respond to them is not what you it's not what you thought you would get, because God has intervened in that matter and spoke on your behalf. For the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. Here God tells us, if you become angry and upset with the person, and you have wrath, and you become ignited and flaming, fuming, fire, burning up with animosity, God says, that's when I back off. I will not intervene. I will not help you. Because the wrath of man worketh not the righteousness of God. You want God righteousness in every situation, don't you? Don't we want God righteousness to show up in every situation? Wouldn't it be just awesome, wonderful for God to come up as in everything that we say, come up in righteousness, and at the end of that confrontation, or at the end of that just conversation, righteousness prevail. This is what God wants for us. Wherefore lay apart all filthiness, superfluity, which means extensive, a lot of things going on, abundance, superfluity of naughtiness. Naughtiness, yes. Naughtiness is something like being deceitful or malicious. A lot of times when we talk to people, we have a motive. We have naughtiness inside of us. You say, well, aren't children naughty? Well, adults can be naughty too if you're opportunists. A lot of times you see a situation and you say, well, I see an opportunity here that can help me, and I'm going to use it for my interest. That would be naughtiness. Adults can be naughty. You could be mischievous. And knowing that you're not going into this situation for the right reason, just as an opportunity to help you, and you don't care about anyone else. And you don't care how it even affects anyone else. You don't even care if something goes down, a company goes down, a relationship goes down. You just see opportunities for you to prevail. That's naughtiness. That's just an example. God says when you have this, all of this can cause Him not to operate in our lives. Wherefore lay apart filthiness, and you know what filthiness is, anything that's not godliness, something that's not clean. I'm not going to say what these things are, because we know with something that's filthy, whether it's word, deed, or thought, these things cannot be present in our lives if we want God to show up and be righteous in our lives. And receive with meekness the engraft word, like I'm giving you here, and graft like an implant. The word should be an implant inside of us, engraft, which is able to save your souls. So God said, this is key. the word that he's giving you, he wants you to be swift to hear, slow to speak, and slow to wrath. He wants that word to be engrafted and planted inside of us. But be ye doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving your own selves. For if any be a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man to holding a natural face, his natural face to the glass. That's a mirror. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner man he was. So every time we look in the mirror, we do it all the time. We go back and forth all during the day, even our reflections perhaps on a window, because the Bible says we forget how we look. That's why we do that. It's not always it's vanity or someone who's just, feel like, they're struggling with being self-involved of themselves, turning yourself inward. It's not always about vanity. Sometimes we forget how we look, and we are constantly going back and trying to see the image that we carry. This is how the word is. If you don't do what the word tells you to do, you will forget it, just like you forget how you look in a mirror. For he beholdeth himself and goeth his way, and straightway forgetteth what manner of man he was. But whoso looketh into the perfect law of liberty, that's the word, continue therein, he being not a forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this man shall be blessed in his deed. That's what God is telling us. He wants us to be blessed in our deeds. And whatever we do, whatever deeds we do, words, deeds, or thought, God wants us to be blessed. And the only way God can bless a situation is he has to be involved, he has to be in it. And so in order for us to prevail and have this word engrafted inside of us, so we won't forget it, we have to yield to the word of God, the commandment, be swift, quick to hear the persons we're talking to, slow to speak, and therefore the results of that, slow to wrath. You say, I can't help but have a temper. If you do this promised word, and if you engraft it inside of you, if you do it, try it. Be quiet. Don't be swift to speak back and have something to say always. Just listen. And you'll be surprised how your anger subsides. And then God can prevail. And then God can work in your life and you'll be blessed. That's the spoken word.